Hello and welcome back to the Who's Podcast YouTube channel. And this time I'm going to give you my reaction to The Solitary Clone, episode 3 of season 2 of Star Wars The Bad Batch. However, this time the Bad Batch and I are totally absent. Instead we catch up on Crosshair, who you might remember is an ex-member of the Bad Batch who threw in his lot with the Empire last series despite his biochip being removed. Now we start this episode with the arrival of a new Imperial governor being dispatched to the planet Desix, in another example of the Empire bringing peace and prosperity to the galaxy. The indigenous governor of Desix, Tawny Ames, naturally does not take kindly to this offer and activates separatist battle droids left over from the Clone Wars and captures Governor Grotton. Vice Admiral Rampart dispatches Crosshair to Desix to rescue Governor Grotton under the command of a character we haven't seen since Revenge of the Sith, Commander Cody. While losing most of his clone troopers in the rescue attempt, it is successful, but it's not the peaceful resolution Commander Cody tried for. Now, I found this episode to be highly interesting because at the end, I was still pondering who exactly is the solitary clone. There are two possible answers to this question. Firstly, it could be Crosshair. This is first highlighted in the episode where we see Crosshair waking in his room and making his way to the mess hall to eat with his fellow clones. He sits down with two clone troopers who immediately get up and move to another table. Now, despite being a fellow clone, Crosshair is viewed differently and ostracised by his clone brothers. And I actually did feel sorry for him at this point, despite him being a somewhat ambiguous antagonist. Now, what is interesting and backs up my theory on the story arc for this series is the conversation between the two clone troopers before Crosshair sits with them. They are discussing the upcoming Defence Recruitment Bill, which basically means phasing out of the clone army to be replaced by conscripted troops. Crosshair is also dedicated to the Empire's cause and still believes that the Jedi were traitors, which it appears in this episode a few clone troopers no longer believe, where it was remarked that the many have now deserted. In fact, Commander Cody, despite giving the order to shoot Obi-Wan Kenobi without question in Revenge of the Sith, is now also having doubts. When Crosshair reiterates that the Jedi were traitors, Cody gives him a look that tells more than any words could convey. While Cody and Crosshair make a good team, as I stated earlier, Cody attempts a peaceful solution with Tawny Ames where she releases Governor Grotton, who then immediately commands Cody to execute her. Cody is obviously conflicted, but there are no such commands from Crosshair, who shoots her dead. So now we have Cody totally conflicted about his role in this new empire as he watches newly conscripted stormtroopers turfing families from their homes. We last see our two possible solitary clones together in front of the Clone Battle Memorial, where Cody tells Crosshair they are different to battle droids in that while they were programmed to fight like a battle droid, they could still make choices, but clones had to live by the choices that they made. Finally, we see Crosshair on his own again, in the mess hall before being summoned once again to Vice Admiral Rampart, who has another mission for him, but now he also finds out that Cody has himself now gone AWOL. You see, the solitary clone could be either one of them, but in different ways, and I think this is deliberate. Crosshair is alone in that as far as the other clones are concerned, he is a freak. While with Commander Cody, he is alone in that he gave the order to kill the Jedi, particularly one he was friends with, and now is living with a decision for which he had no control over, and is now questioning his place in the galaxy. But with what I saw the solitary clone to be, was this episode any good? Well, yes it was. In fact, I was go as far as to say it was brilliant. I thought the internal conflict felt by both Crosshair and Cody to be thought-provoking for a show mainly aimed at a younger audience. Where there was action in this episode to satisfy those who expect that in every episode, I found the Cody and Crosshair plot strands to be the main standouts, and also once again they found a non-violent way of showing how the Empire took over the galaxy, through force and fear, as shown at the end of this episode. Also we have the plot strand of the clones being phased out of service with the Defence Recruitment Bill. I sort of became attached to the clone troops while watching the Clone Wars, and now that time is nearly at an end, I'll be generally sad to see their fate being played out on screen. Now, while the action between the clone troops and battle droids was played out in darkened locations once again, and is one of my pet hates, what did stand out for me was Kevin Kiner's music, with its Middle Eastern vibes, which I found to be very effective and really set the mood of the episode. All I can really say is that now I hope we have more episodes of this calibre in this season. And while I expect we'll be seeing more of Cody and Crosshair cross paths with the Bad Batch very soon.